Holocaust here at Horrific 2025, and I am truly honoured to have with me the lovely Francesca Ciardi. Let's give her a big round of applause, please.
Thank you. It was 50 years ago, huh?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So,
50 years, can you imagine?
absolutely.
Long time.
How did you get involved in this project?
It was just my first movie. I just was an acting school, and I had an agent. And the agent, deal with me, for the part in Ruggero was my first movie. And so, of course, I was enthusiastic to start my career, and I decided to accept the movie. In fact, I didn't know, because it was not very clear what I was getting involved. Because, Ruggero give you some kind, or even not the script, give you just the line of the script. And they say, when we're there, we're gonna create scene by scene or whatever. And so I was not aware of all of this. And that's it. So I was in Amazonia.
And where did you first get the feeling that you were part of, it was...
Yes.
Did you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm out of my depth here, or did you how when you truly understood what was happening?
Yes, when you start to do at the beginning, when you start to kill the turtle. I don't know if there was the scene of the turtle in this movie that you see or has been cut off or whatever, but you start killing for real a turtle, and then so from there on I start to understand that it was maybe a little tough story. And then at some point I wanted to quit, and I really was on the point to quit. So I quit the scene, and I was back to the hotel to take the plane to go back, and then they stopped me, and then promising me that they're gonna change, all the story. I say, okay, I'm just in the middle. If I really go, I'm gonna ruin all these people that they're here, because they have to start the movie again. So I finished. It was harsh. It was not very easy.
And how was Ruggero to work with?
At the beginning, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. An horrible guy. He was really bully, because he want to push you to do the stuff that nobody wants. And he was really bully with everyone and with me, and at some point I couldn't take it more, and I remember one day I beat him on the set. I beat him, and they took him. It was the scene of the girl that has been violated and then put on a pole, and then at this point I beat Ruggero. I took it out from the back of the scene, out of his camera, and I beat him harshly, and I put it in the muds, and then I say, okay, I'm quitting, and this was the point. And then from there, we start to become a little more, how you say, a little more gentle, a little more, but it still was stealing from people something that people really don't want to do.
And how old were you when you did the film?
22, 21, 22.
It's a lot of pressure for your first feature to be
absolutely.
Exposed to that level of trauma.
Yes, it was a trauma.
And I'm sure, someone, as we were coming in, somebody came out and they said to me, this is such a horrible film. And these are hardened horror fans who've, they've probably seen all sorts of things.
Yes.
And they've walked out of Cannibal Holocaust really, taken aback.
Yeah, what I think of the movie, unfortunately, I'm part, and so in a way or another, and I feel to be responsible, because I'm part of this movie. So at the end of the day, I wanted or I don't want, and at the end, I'm inside. I cannot hide myself and say, I'm sorry or whatever. And part of I think that this movie has such a success because apart to be an horrific story, it's also a disgusting story. So yes, the all together make a product that you can't even conceive. And that's why, in my opinion, has been so successful. And the other end, the good of Ruggero was to make it like real. This has been his master. What he was mastering the best is to make it real. But then it was absolutely disgusting. Apart to be horrific, it's a terrible story and disgusting story in the same time.
Was there ever a point when you were shooting the film that you thought, you felt, I don't mean that they were going to, kill you or anything, but was there ever a point that you thought to yourself you felt in danger?
Not me. The boys, yes. The two American boys, they were really terrorized. Perry and Gabriel, they were terrorized. But me and Barbareschi, we were not, because we knew in a certain sense who was Ruggero, that he was, a director, not so horrific until now, but just more regular, more an action movie guy or whatever. And we knew him and we knew the truth, so we knew that nothing is going to happen to us. That's for certain. That was for certain.
And what was the hardest day of shooting for you?
Every
day. But was there
one day back at the other one, it was, oh my God, it was something like this. And I think you feel it. I think you feel it. I don't know, maybe the good of my performance is also the fact that I was so in opposition, that, and uncomfortable, and so at some point, all add up. I was asking myself if Ruggero put myself in difficulty so much to have out of me more natural, terrible performance. Possible. I cannot get back. It was 50 years ago.
Yeah. So you've been out, you've shot the film, you go back to Italy, and what happens next?
Next?
For those that don't know the story about...
Okay, what happened next? Okay, the movie has his story, so practically it went out and immediately was taken off. And Ruggero passed a lot of problem, with the justice, because they really thinking, they were really thinking that it was so real that he did kill the actors, and so Luca Barbareschi had to go to court to show that it was in fact a movie, but we were alive and it was not a spoof movie. But in any way, the movie has been taken off. It was banned completely from Italy and from wherever else for a long time. And of course I've signed a paper to Ruggero in which I should have hid myself for a couple of years or not accepting any movie. But in fact when I went back, I went to play in theater, classic theater. So it was even a way to remove all of this tension and this bad experience. Just go acting in a theater, and it was beautiful. So for several years, I've been acting in theater. Yeah.
And then, so for you,
yes,
as an actress, what happened to you? Because you sort of just disappeared from the acting life, didn't you?
When? After few years?
Yeah.
No, then I've been acting in theater. I've done some television shows, and then I've been doing some other movie participation in other movies, and then but my passion became the theater. But when I get married and I had my child in Italy, the way that we do performance in theater is not like in London, that you have a performance can last 6 months. In Italy, what you do few weeks in Roma, then you go in tournée, you go to Milano, you go to Genova, to Venezia, to here, and it lasts months. And of course I had a child, so I had to stop theater, and then I take care of, I have been acting in another it's several other story, from television. They've never been so successful like Ruggero Deodato movie, a more all Italian story. And then at some point when I was 35, I decided to change my life and stop acting anyhow, and then stop it completely.
And what did you do then?
I take care of. So I opened a restaurant in Paris that has been very successful. So I went to Paris. I went away from Italy, went to Paris, and I opened a restaurant, and it's been extremely successful. And then I had career in a restaurant, and then I opened a coffee shop in Oxfordshire, and then I did something like this. It was more relaxing, more real life, more. But in fact, you cannot be mother and in the same time to be a divorced mother so practically a single mother with a child and getting acting. Impossible. Impossible. You give a bad education to your child first, and then secondarily is non-stable, and so I was needing to have such more stable situation. And I didn't regret, because in fact when I arrived at 35, I was not, such a vedette. So an actress at 35 is in the middle of a career, so it's not young enough to play the young, beautiful lady, and is not old enough to play the mother or grandmother or whatever. So it was a part that I decided to cut off and buy. You cannot do Giulietta. Juliet at 35 years old, I don't know, whatever. Impossible.
Looking back,
Yeah.
when did you realise, or did you realise that 50 years on, you'd still be travelling around representing this film that was your first film?
Yeah. I don't know. After that, Ruggero offered me other movie that, of course, I refused, and then some other people doing zombie and other stuff. Maybe they were looking for me, but I didn't want to have something to do with that. I wanted to perform in more classic story. So yeah.
And I mean, we spoke outside, and you said, it's bad, it's horrible. But how do you feel about the film all these years later?
Okay, so many years later, what's happened is that I'm asking question. At the point of view of a career, should I have to instead decide to follow up the horror or whatever? And I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised. First of all, the success of this movie is surprising me, because it's not successful only. We're talking about 50 years, and look, there is still public coming and see. And the last time I saw the movie was many years after it's been shot, and the surprise was that everything was looking so actual. So, for example, still the dressing, the clothing, the way we appear, the hair or whatever, the natural way of the makeup is so actual that it still surprised me. And then in the other way, the fact that the movie has success go against my personal feeling, because I say maybe it was a right something to do, because success, I don't know what, you can have, it's such a hard decision. Yeah, so the movie is going more far than whatever I could imagine, and I don't know why. So the public has to tell me why.
And was anyone here that saw it for the first time today? Yeah. And how did it balance up to you? Was it as shocking as you thought it might be? Or Tony, come on, let's pick on you. How do you feel? How do you stand on it?
Slightly disturbing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't shoot out, did I? So
yeah.
I think in this day and age, it's maybe
desensitized to it.
Yeah.
What did you say?
In this day and age, it's a little bit undersensitized to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's put some questions to the audience.
So
and
we have to recognize that, from at the end, I have to recognize, I don't know if but I have to recognize that in a way or another one, even if I was angry with Ruggero, whatever, somehow it was correct. He was right.
Mm.
Because look, he made a product that everybody, after many years, want to see.
Yeah.
It should be something
Mm.
that I myself still don't understand.
Yeah. John, you had a question?
Francesca, this is probably my fourth time. I mean, the first time I saw this movie, I did see the uncut version pre-regulation anyway, so it already had an impact on me. That's the joy. The thing about this movie is that it is the one movie worthy of its video nasty reputation, without question. The reason is that it's got a strong idea at the heart of it. It actually goes deeper. It's not because of the fact that it juxtaposes the reactions of the characters, not just the ones in the jungle. And of course, your character, Faye, does demonstrate that at one point when we have that very horrible rape. I mean, to me, that's what it represents to me, is the fact that it has a clever idea. Deodato had a clever intention.
Yes.
And it doesn't leave people polarized. I wanted to, that's my observation of it. I have two questions. One of them is, you already mentioned that you were, every day was a challenge. I mean, what was it like working in the humidity of the jungle? I mean, in terms of did you have coping mechanisms? And then also the second question is, working in theatre, coming from that, how did you gain, what sort of skill, what did you gain from going from that to theatre? What were the changes?
Okay, the first one is the humidity of the jungle.
In terms of the environment, the actual locations.
The location was, in a way, it was amazing because this jungle, you can say everything is a dangerous jungle. Is whatever is the animal. There are really snakes. There are really spider. There are really all of this danger, crocodile and piranha, whatever. But the jungle is amazing. The place was absolutely beautiful, a beauty. So, in a way or another one, you discover a place. So where you feel it was marvelous to be in the jungle. And then, of course, we were a troop of people. So in a way or another one, I was not alone, with 3 guys in the jungle. There was 20 person of the troop, and even the Indians, they're not real Indians. Those Indians that you see, they're real person, like you, me, and then they put some costume and they make up them and they looks like real, but in fact it was people going to the office, with the shirts and a clean dress and living a normal life in a normal house. They were not Indians. So you are with a lot of people, you don't feel so much in danger, because you have many in the surrounding. Okay, so I hope I answered your first question.
That's fine. You answered.
And I suggest you, if you want to visit the jungle, if you have the opportunity, go, because it's magic. Until we have an Amazonia, please go. It could be an experience. And then the other one is, what about the skill from theater to
film? When you made the transition from film to theatre?
It was quite natural, because don't forget that I was coming out from acting school. At acting school, what we do all the time, and we don't do camera. At the time, it was an acting school, it was performing arts in a theater, in a way or another one, okay? Then you have some lesson for, they teach you how to be natural, but you always still performing, or you practice on a stage. So for me, the theater, it came very easy to go from movie to theater. In fact, when I went back to movie after 2-3 years of theater, I found that difficult to just repeat the scene, just little part of the scene 3, 4, 5 times. So the differences in performing on theater, performing on movies, is that when you perform in theater, you are on your own, okay? You direct yourself, you perform yourself from start to finish, and you give whatever you can and the best you can or whatever you want to give, you have a dynamic that is, in one. You don't put yourself in the end of anybody. When you perform in cinema, that's why, sometimes I didn't like very much to perform in movies of Italian director. You put yourself, your images, your personality in the end of someone else. So practically, you start and you have a scene, the scene is always cut. You have a discussion, for example, I talk to him, we have some line to say, me and him, for a situation, and so the camera starts with me, and then it goes to him, and so the scene has been cut, because then they put the camera on the back, and then you have, and so you are in the end of someone who manipula. I don't know how do you say manipula in English.
Yeah,
That
like,
is
yeah.
manipulation. Manipulation, it takes, it uses you as it wants. Instead, in a stage, nobody uses you as they want, because you use yourself. So this is the difference. I don't know if I can be more precise.
That's you've answered my question.
Yeah, but I suggest you to go sometimes when there are some shootings to see what's happened. Okay, and so, yeah, so you're a victim of a director. A director can love you very much and can make you fantastic. Okay, a director can kill you in the movie. In a theater, no. Nobody can touch your talent. It's all yours, and that's it. Fine.
So Sylvia's just waved at me and said that they can't hear you at the back. So could you put
yes.
the microphone a bit closer to your face?
Sorry, Sylvia, did you hear me?
Now yes.
Yeah, okay. There I am.
Okay, have we got any other questions out there? Come on, you've got the... Oh, right at the front, Fleming.
How difficult was it to hide after the film? You have to sort of sign the waiver to say you weren't
So Fleming's question is how you signed the waiver that you would sort of disappear. How difficult was that to do?
No, not difficult at all, because after Cannibal Holocaust, I didn't want to perform in any other movie for a while, so they offered me horror movie continuously, and of course Ruggero wanted me to perform other movie with him, and they said no way, and I didn't sign to don't do theater, so I went immediately to perform in some theater stuff that I don't remember exactly where I did. Maybe it was a Verga story or whatever story, some classic, and this was not forbidden. I didn't sign to don't perform in theater, so it was okay. I didn't suffer.
Any other questions out there?
Other question.
Come on. Yes, at the front.
Do you serve turtle in your restaurant?
Did it? Oh yes, of course. It was of course it was the first advertised the dish that I serve.
Your question is, how did the other actors feel about having to kill real animals, and how do you feel about doing that on set? Because it's for us it's a really strange thing to do, but obviously it's quite a traditional thing in the jungle cannibal genre. So how did everyone feel about doing that?
How were all the actors feeling about the animal
just
cruelty?
to tell you, Perry Perkanen, he didn't want to know anything about acting anymore. Okay, he didn't want to talk to Ruggero, didn't want to talk. He's the only one that you don't see coming in any show. He I don't know, he has been so shocked, the poor guy, that after that, he completely, I don't know, disappeared totally. If you call him, he doesn't answer. If you call him about, Cannibal Holocaust, can please come to the show, signing or whatever, introduce yourself. You will never. And so this is the first something. Luca Barbareschi has been a strong guy, He did well, and he was, I don't know, acting in something and then becoming a producer as well, producing himself. He had a good career, very interesting career. And then Gabriel, what's happened, had a funny story, I think a personal story. He was performing in a movie that is Apollo 10, very famous as well. And after has personal difficulties. I think he had a child, he lost a child at some point, and so he went by other way. And you're gonna see Gabriel is gonna come, I suppose, in another convention. First in United Kingdom, he never came before in United Kingdom, I suppose. Has been invited to come in
It's weird, Worcester, isn't it?
yes, in Worcester.
July.
Yes, in June or July. June or July? June.
July,
And-
I think.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
And so you have to ask to him. He's a lovely guy. He's an amazing, lovely guy, yeah. But I think it's been quite difficult for him as well, He was really worried that they were going to kill him. He was sure that he end up in a spoof movie. So I suppose has been terrorized all the time, under terror.
Have we got any other questions out there? Don't be shy. Oh, look at that. Silence. If you'd continued your acting career, when I say your acting career, like if you'd been able to continue your acting career during that sort of period where, actresses fall between what sort of roles would you have liked to have had?
Now?
And no, sort of from 35 onwards, if you
Yeah,
stayed
from the-
acting,
yeah,
what sort of roles would you have liked to have done?
Difficult because at the time that we are talking about, I don't know, some other years ago, you had this culture of the beautiful woman, with beautiful woman. You have to be a sexy bomb or whatever. So it was the sexy bomb story. So 35 it was difficult to choose to be a sexy bomb. I remember the once Damiano Damiani. He called me for a provino, a try for something that he wanted to do in television. Then I didn't do because he felt sick. But he said, okay, Francesca, you have to put an underwear. I said, look, Damiano, I'm 35, I'm not going to do it any underwear. If you want me to do a provino, I'm 35, I'm a mother. How do I feel? I don't feel to be an underwear. So I said, okay, don't forget, forget it. So he made the provino. I was very happy about this provino. That's I'm very proud to tell. And he has felicitato very much. And then I didn't do it because he went sick. He had the cancer, and then he had to stop to do something, and then he did it years later. But at the time I was in Paris, and so the story changed. And I stopped it, and so whatever. But no, you don't want to do it. At 35, after you're a mother, you have another life, you put in underwear. Take one that is 20 years to be in underwear. You take me to do Cannibal Holocaust at 35, it's not the same. I was 21, it was looking good. So, you have some sense of pudore also, no? That you say, why? So I'm done underwear. Yeah, so this was the story. So I couldn't consider to be in any other movie. The last one I did, it was something that went in television. It was with Roger Vadim. That I was very, very happy to do something with Roger Vadim because he's always loved a beautiful lady. So it was a kind of appreciation. But a part of that, bye, finito.
How was it to work with Roger Vadim?
He was a fascinating guy. Fascinating, a really charming guy. The success he had with those women is really understandable. It was absolute, the fashion, the personal fashion. It was gentle, it was kind, it was, always, attentive of your wishes. At some point I was not happy because, the director of the photos, he was paid by Rai, he wanted to make more beautiful a lady than me. So when I saw a reel, I said, look, Roger, I don't want to do the movie anymore. Anzi, it was not called Roger, it was called Vadim. Roger is a name d'art. It was called Vadim Plemianikov, and his real name is Vadim, not Roger. So, look, Vadim, I don't want to do anymore because, I'm not happy with my looking, and he correct the sound thing. He said, okay, come. So the day after I went to see the real, it was another story. I was very happy because I wanted to look beautiful. I'm sorry. I wanted to look beautiful. Now I don't care anymore, you know, like I can look like a whatever. And this is a liberation, promise, it's a liberation. At the time it was not, you know, you have the fascination of this beautiful lady.
And
But it was absolutely, you know, I can say all good with Vadim, all good.
good.
Very nice guy, absolutely charming.
Was there anybody you would have really liked to have worked with as a director? Any specific director, or any director at any point in time you got close to working with that didn't happen?
It was a French director, you know, the one I won in Paris. That's why I stopped acting. Okay, I went in Paris, and of course I had an agent, and so the agent promoted me for a role in something. So I went for the reel, and the guy said, "Oh, very good, Francesca, we want you, we want you." And I say, okay, I'm very happy to do it because I wanted to eventually do something in France as well. It was something for still television, I suppose, in some, you know, some kind of episode for television. And then he called me, the director. He said, "Francesca, you have to excuse, but you know I cannot take you." I said, "Why? What's happened?" "You know, we're co-producing with the Rai Televisione Italiana, and they want Ottavia Piccolo, and I cannot fight because otherwise I don't have the money." And I said, "Okay, you know something, I'm going to stop." And that was the last of my thought. I never got put a feet in movie anymore. One day Vadim came and said, "Francesca, I'm doing a movie," because I helped Vadim. I had a lot of connection. Then at some point Vadim wrote a story that was one of book that he wrote, and I said, "I want to put this in film, but I don't have a producer." And I knew a producer, a French producer, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to put you in contact with this producer." So I did, and they did the movie. And so Vadim came to me, and he said, "Do you want a role?" I said, "No, look, I forget it because I don't want to do anything anymore. I'm very sorry." And so that's why I decided to cut off. I was so disappointed with the story of Ottavia Piccolo. Fucking hell. Ottavia Piccolo, you go. So it was impossible, you know, impossible.
And one last opportunity, anyone, for a question? Torrin?
Sorry, I've come in late, so apologies if you've said it before. Did Francesca know that this was going to be, like me growing up, this was the film that everyone was talking about, that was going to be cold and everything was going to follow after? And when she was filming it, did she think it was ever going to be this? Did she know as well? Like a three-pronged question. Did she know it was going to be that horrific?
Did you know? We have kind of answered this question, but did you have any idea, even though you knew, you know, how horrific it was and all that sort of thing? Did you know how successful it was going to be?
Never.
You know, no.
Never. What I was thinking when I finished the movie, that I saw it, I said, "This is never gonna be successful because it's too horrible," and you know, and then in fact it's been the surprise of my life. The surprise of my life is that the one that I ate, the movie that I ate the most, has been the one that it took me off the most. You know, the life is like this. Is absolutely unexpected. If I knew, if I was, but maybe more clever, I should have followed up the horror movie story. Maybe, I don't know. But the life is like this. I hope to have a new life another time, you know, start again. And with remembering this experience, and so to do better, you know. The life is like this. You never know where it takes you. You never know. And this was the last of my expectation, honestly.
Excellent. Can we give Francesca a huge round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Such a wonderful guest. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
So, before we depart, I noticed that we have been joined by some fellow Italian
Yeah.
film
Ottaviano
stars.
Dell'Acqua.
And
Silvia.
and we've got Doralba's here. I saw her come in, and we've got Ian here as well. We've got Silvia, Ottaviano. Come forth.
Yes, let's get.
Maestro,
Let's get in. Boss.
Gian, yeah.
So, before they, whatever, I don't know what's happening here, but whatever is happening here, what I need to say is, if you would like to get an autograph from these fantastic actors, your last opportunity is coming up straight after this. Go out, see them, sign an autograph. That would be amazing. Have an autograph signed by them. That would be amazing. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, guys. You're an amazing public, and we are proud to be part of the show and to meet you. And I will never be tired to come and see British people, and so that's why I will be in Worcester in summer. You really, I really say thanks to you. You say, after a show you do. Thank you.
A big kiss from Italy. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you. Thank to Spencer and to the
Yes,
love
of
of
course.
war and the passion he has in anything. And we say thank to you too. If this happens, it's thanks to you and to all of us. Does it work? Is it? Yes. Thank you very
You're
much.
working.
I can really tell you, you can come in. You don't go inside, but you
Yes.
can come.
First of all, thank you, thanks Spencer, and a big wet French kiss to everybody.
Sì, can come. He has something to say to all
Lei
of you,
leggerà
and she
un-
translates what you
Tu leggerai
Oh.
questa piccola...
direttamente in inglese.
sì, ok.
Okay, so Ottaviano has written this for all of you, and Ottaviano has written all of this for all of you, and in Italian. He's asking me to translate it, and it's dedicated to all of you film lovers. Yes, so doing this instant translation. Forgive me if I'm a bit tricky. Ladies and gentlemen, and dearest children, who is talking to you is cinema. Cinema is talking to you right now. Even if I am one of the spectacles, one of the most ancient spectacles of the world, I can always give my older and younger friends the truest, healthiest, happiest of spectacles. And you, little boy or little girl, who is attentive and restless, you have seen everything that I have shown you. Do not forget, ever. Do know that cinema lives for children, all of you children, and as long as there are children in the world, cinema will be alive.
Nice. Bravo, Ottaviano.
In Italian.
Thank you
Grazie.
to
This is
all
for
of
you.
our
This is
fellows,
Italian. That's
to
for you.
Doralba, to Spencer, to Andy. Where is it? Are you there?
Andy ran away.
Run away, but
okay.
anyways, you will tell him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you as well for coming. Thank you.
Grazie.
Grazie.